So you bought EZ Algo and you're looking at how to use the new algo system, EZ Algo V2 and EZ Algo oscillator waves. There's a ton of information on your screen when you pull both of these up on your charts, and it can seem a bit overwhelming at first, but we're going to make this really easy to understand on how to use everything and going through on what everything you see means. The awesome thing about EZ Algo is it gives you every single thing you need and a ton of confluence indicators to know what is happening in the market on any given time, so you can make the best educated decisions on your trades. Now, as you can see, we have the Bitcoin 4-hour chart on the screen, and there's quite a bit of information on the screen when you load both of these indicators up. So let's go over what each of these mean that you see on the screen, and then we'll focus on EZ Algo V2 signals, and we'll focus today on the trade setup dashboard so you can know how to use both of these together. Remember, EZ Algo V2 isn't just signals. It's a full toolkit full of confluence and strategy building indicators to help you make your own custom strategies, no matter the market or time frame that you're trading on. So today we'll keep this video light, and then we'll dive into, on the next video, more of these confluence indicators, the preset layouts you can use, and different strategies you can add to your trading to get started right away. So as you can see, we have our buy and sell signals on the charts. A plus sign tells us the signal is stronger and a greater amount of selling and momentum is taking place when it was triggered. So this is good to tell us a stronger trend shift is trying to take place at that moment. Our X's, as you can see on the chart, are when the signal system took profit. Now, the best approach is using the TP markers as exits versus using the sell signals themselves. However, both can be used if you prefer. So all of this information is also available in our trade setup dashboard, as you can see in the corner right here, which is a first of a kind system that tells you currently how strong the current live signal is and what the key reason for that score. So to note, scores above about 50 to 60 range are good setups. And the reason for this, and the reason for this approach, is to solve a few major issues a lot of platforms face today with their own systems, and answer a few major questions, which is the signal still valid, or will entering now versus when the signal first fired off will make me lose that trade? Also, what price level does the price need to reach to flip into a buy or sell, aka the opposite signal? Also, what is the best tuning range I should use on the chart and time frame that I'm on? So this dashboard will give you all of that information. Not only that, by going into the settings, we can click on display our trade setup details. And by doing so, the script will now display our entry, our take profit areas, our stop loss, and our trailing stop loss. So we can see by going to our settings and clicking this on what the entire trade setup currently is for that signal. A few more things we can do with this information now. When we're on a chart and you see the optimal range, we can go into our settings by hovering over to the script, clicking on the settings gear icon, and heading down to our signal sensitivity. And we can either follow this range or go a little bit outside of it. Now to note, the sensitivity range gives us a range of 1 through 10, with 1 being the most amount of signals and 10 being the least. So as you can see, selecting a number of 6, which is low noise, is going to drastically change the signals that we see on the chart before you. Now it's more covering over the broader trend than each up and down move, while using a higher noise or most noise filter is going to give us a lot more signals in a shorter amount of time. Now this can be utilized depending on what your strategy is. If you're trying to catch every small movement in the market, or if you're just trying to ride a broader trend. Either way, the trade setup dashboard will tell us the optimal levels to use, while we can also explore this range that we have here. Now, if you want to create your own personal range, we have our custom signal mode. And all that is gives you a broader range of 1 through 30 that's calculated a bit differently, that can give you a lot more signals on the chart before you, allowing you to create your own custom strategies and approaches to what you are trading. So EZ Algo V2 gives you a ton of different options available. Then we can also view our take profit zones to overlay the trade setup on our charts. So it's not just these X's that we see or the information in this dashboard. We can actually view this on our charts by going into settings, heading down to our take profit and stop loss section, and just clicking on the top switch, take profit and stop loss zones. And when we do this, it's going to overlay our entry, our stop loss, and our take profits. And as you can see, when we pass the take profit zone, an X was triggered, notifying us that profit was taken at that level. There's a few cool things that we can also do in this with our signals. We can customize our take profit zones. So the take profit boxes down here, they work off of ATR, which is average true range, and scales that according to volatility. So we can use lower number values, a 1, a 2, or a 3, and it will give us ATR zones to take profit, which is pretty standard. However, if we want to, let's say instead, calculate the take profit and stop loss zones just by percentage, then all we need to do is click on this, and it's going to change to these values, which are pretty low values as it is right here. So now our take profit zones are a lot shorter. But the best thing about all of this is if we're unsure of where should you take profit, where should you put your stop loss at, how should you go about this trade just because the signal is live, EZ Algo V2 will do all the heavy lifting for you. So what we will do then is just hit auto set levels. We have multiple different options. Our autopilot mode will specifically select key levels on the chart based on the volatility. If we want quicker take profit range, we just hit scalp. If we want more of a broader target range, we hit swing. Or let's say if we're playing on a different or higher time frame, or if we're using a low noise signal like we just covered over here, then we may want to use the position. So this just gives you a broad range of options to customize your own approach. However, if you're ever unsure on where you should set these levels at, then we can just simply use our autopilot mode. So now you have a basic understanding on how to use the signals, how to use the trade setup dashboard, as well as how to use the take profit zones. So next, let's take a look at the indicators you see on your screen when you load the script up, and we'll cover over each of them. So we have the Bitcoin 3-day chart on our screen now, and this is the pre-indicators that load up in your charts. So first and foremost, we have our market trend line, which is this line right here, which is an adaptable trend that tells us if the market is in an uptrend, which is green, if it's trying to be in a downtrend, which is red, or if the market is ranging or in chopping mode, which is our yellow. We also have our macro trend cloud. This is this green cloud that you see right here and red cloud right here. This tells us our bigger picture of the overall trend. Is the macro view bullish or is it bearish? And if we go a little bit deeper, we now see on these candles, we have these dots. These are our price action dots. And they tell us the trend that's taking place in all of this. With the green dots meaning that an uptrend is trying to take place. Red dots mean that a downtrend is trying to take place. While no dots represents a reversal attempt is taking place. This also matches the preset candle coloring you see on your screen as well, which gives you the option if you want these dots to populate, or if you just want to go off of candle coloring, or if you want to use a different option. Now we also have our reversal indicators, which is our top and bottom alerts, which they highlight key areas where price might stall out at, or range, or a reversal might take place. And then we have our trading range available here too, which is our high and low zones, which just maps out the overall range that price is currently trading in, which we have our high range, our low range, and then we have our mid range right here. So together, they can tell us the bigger picture of the trend. We can have a quick view of our important levels, and we can see how price is moving in that trend. Now we can always use our own signal system that we have in here to tell us, but it's always good to have greater confluence with the indicators on the chart so we can just easily map everything out. So we don't have to be stuck at hand drawing levels or going through chart trying to figure out what is going on in front of us. We can hit click of a button and we have all the information that we need at a moment's notice. Now, a cool thing about all of this information you see here too is it's adjustable. And what I mean by that is when we go back to our settings, which hovering over to the script name, click on the settings marker, we can scroll down from our signal section down to our indicator overlay. Now these are all the indicators that are available to you that you can overlay on your chart. While we also have our candle signals down here. Now we'll get into the weeds of it in our next video. But as you can see, the ones loaded up on the chart are what is checked right here. Now at any point in time, we can change how this behaves on the chart. So for our market trend line, we can change this for a lower time frame view, which is going to be a much tighter range. Now this is good if we want to have a signal at a much quicker or sooner rate. As you can see here, for Bitcoin 3-day, as soon as price made the first high before it made its final higher high, our market trend line was telling us that it's still a range and it's in a chop. And usually what we want to watch out for when this happens is the next color line going to be red, indicating to us that a downtrend is taking place. Now another good thing too is our other indicator we haven't discussed yet, our oscillator waves, which we'll cover that in a second. But this was telling us the entire time that our trend, even though that Bitcoin hit $126,000 area, it was telling us to be cautious that price was going to reverse and go down. And look what happened. So these confluence indicators are solid at giving us not only the bigger picture of what's going on, but what is also taking place with price on each of these candles. Now, our market trend line, which is our preset, is at 3. we want something a lot quicker, we might turn it to a 1, right? It all depends on how you want to trade. All depends if you want a much tighter and quicker range, if you're taking quicker trades, or if you don't really care about that and you just want the broader view for your trading. Whatever the case may be, you can easily change these values right here and then have it set and you're good to go. And at any point in time, if you're confused on what do any of these settings mean in EZ Algo V2, just hover your mouse over this eye icon or click on it if you're on mobile, right? And it'll give you a full description of what this means and how to use it. So a full guide on how to use EZ Algo V2 is built inside the script as well. So you can go to any parts of these and it will tell you how to use this, what it means, and you can go from there. All right, so we covered quite a bit today in this video. We covered the basic indicators you see on the chart. We covered our buy and sell signals, how to use them, how to adjust and use the take profit zones, and what the trade setup dashboard means. So our next video, we'll cover more of the indicators, different ones you can apply and use. We'll cover what EZ Algo Oscillator Waves is and how you can use this for perfect confluence. We'll also cover our presets that we do have for our different modes, because EZ Algo V2 is not just this, what you see here. There's a lot more that you can do with it as a full toolkit, giving you different approaches on how you trade level to level, and giving you a wide range of room to strategize depending on the market that you're on, and utilizing everything correctly together so you can build that confluence, build your own trade system, and have a good idea of what's going on in the market at any given time. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.